So hello ladies and gentlemen and welcome to the JayCast. So the JayCast is one of my newest, is a podcast. So the first episode is going to be on what I've done with my school, which is a plastic bottle boat flotation. So I am really pleased to be a part of this, and I have interviewed two members of Engineering Club. One is Mr. Simpson and the other is Harriet. So the JayCast, so I'm going to be speaking about what made me want to join Engineering Club and what we did at Engineering Club as kind of like a whole. So I hope that you enjoy and I hope that you stay around for more. So what I've done as a member of the Engineering Club is I have made a plastic bottle boat. So what we did to start off is we did we made some plastics using like some different materials. Then we tested different kind of products to stick plastic bottles together, such as silicone, soldering irons, even like making our own different types of like glue. So we did that, and then we decided on white silicone to stick all the bottles together and all the bricks. So we got some different kind of sizes of bottles. So we got some 2 litre, 500ml I think they were. So we got them and we put them in rows of 5 or 6, and then we stuck them together using the white silicone, and then we made them, and then we made the bricks by sticking some duct tape around. So after we've made a few of them, we probably made about 100 to 120 bricks before we actually started the construction of the boat. So the construction of the boat consisted so we joined the tops of the boat kind of in, so like the lids was basically the lids, and then we kind of linked them together. And then we did a few layers of that. So that was the base of the boat. And then what we did is we then put the 2 litre bricks up onto the side, and then we used expanding foam to make sure that it was all tight and compact together. So then after that, we got the back of the boat. So then we made the back of the boat, and then we were on to making the nose of the boat. So what we did is we did like a cone shape, so like a triangle, and then we kind of put expanded foam around the outside of the boat, and then we just slotted some of the bottles in to fill it all up. Then what we did is we put expanding foam in between all of the bricks for the nose, and then we made sure that it wouldn't collapse. So then we put some expanding foam. So we had the main compartment, then the nose. Then we put some expanding foam from the main bit of the boat to the nose, and we connected that. Then what we did is we made sure that the bottom of the boat was all fine. So then we put expanding foam like underneath the brick so we can get up to the space. So that is a brief description of how we constructed the boat. So now basically I I'm going to pass you over to me in school, so that I can interview Mr. Simpson and Harriet. So, see you in school. So I'm now going to be interviewing two people who made a plastic bottle boat. So the first person is one of the people who joined engineering clubs, and this person is called Harriet. So I'm going to ask you some questions. Okay. So why did you want to join the engineering club?
I wanted to join this project because when Mr. Simpson had been talking about the club, I was interested because it sounded like a good opportunity to take part in a creative project that could be of benefit to the school and even the environment.
That's very good. So, how shocked were you when you saw the final product and how many bottles were used?
Well, having spent so much time around the boat, I became used to the sight of so many plastic bottles. But still, I think it's quite amazing that we've been able to create a functional boat out of it. For what it's made out of, it's very impressive.
Did you think that there would have been enough bottles to build the boat?
At first I was sceptical as to how fast we would be able to make the boat based on the amount of bottles we were getting each week, but soon it became very apparent that we would have more than enough to make it.
Right, so thank you for that, Harriet, and thank you. So now I am with a teacher from the school who came up with the idea of the engineering club. His name is Mr. Simpson. So I'm going to ask you now 4 questions. So the first question is, why did you decide to make a plastic bottle boat instead of everything else, instead of all the other things that could be done?
Okay, James. Well, the first thing that inspired me was Sky News, actually. So, having watched quite a bit of Sky News, I was very aware of the Sky Ocean Rescue programme that was presented there, and I got more and more interested in ways that the school could perhaps take part in something that would raise awareness for plastic pollution, but also something creative that the kids could get involved with. So, having spent a few days thinking about the projects, and we'd already done a little bit of work on plastics and how they can be used and how they can be formed. The projects developed from sticking the first little bits of plastic together, and then I came up with the idea of maybe a raft, and just did a little bit of research, and then thought, well, why not a boat? And we decided to think really big, and started talking about crossing the Atlantic and all kinds of crazy things like that. But essentially, it was Sky News Ocean Rescue that prompted the idea.
Yeah, so that leads me on to question 2. So, obviously, what or who kind of inspired you to make the boat?
Yeah, again, Sky News. I guess the morning programme, because it's something that I used to watch eating me cereal before I came to school. Yeah. So I could put it down to presenters such as Kay Burley and people like that who work at Sky News, and all the people who did all the work on the Sky Ocean Rescue programme.
Yeah. So how many plastic bottles do you think is now used to be on the boat?
More than just think. I think I'm pretty accurate because I did a few calculations. There's definitely just over 1,000. Yeah. I'd guess maybe nearer 1,200, but definitely over 1,000 bottles on there.
Yeah. So why did you want people to be aware of plastic? To be aware of the amount of plastic bottles in the school? Well,
as with I'm sure many schools, were a little bit guilty of not recycling as much as we possibly could. Yeah. And when we look at our own recycling facilities, the school provides them, but not every pupil adheres to them. Yeah. So it's a question of raising awareness for the pupils the fact that a lot of our bottles were collected by cleaners
Yeah.
from the waste paper bins in class, and I'll just repeat that, from the waste paper bins in class,
Yeah.
it shows that a lot of our awareness on plastics isn't there. You know,
Yeah.
the pupils are drinking a bottle of something at lunchtime,
Yeah.
and they're putting it in a waste paper bin rather
Yeah.
than putting it in recycling. So I think the aim of the project is it has many facets to it. The first one obviously is about raising awareness on a wider scale, looking at plastic pollution. But I think if we micromanage it within school and get it so that the school can recycle more, then that's going to have a huge benefit on the environment as well. Because those 1,000 bottles only took a few weeks to collect.
Yeah. I know that it's not on there, but do you think that it's kind of a form of like people not caring, the fact that like the waste paper bins go like to a different kind of area, and like the plastic bottles go to like recycling centres, whereas like paper doesn't really go, like paper goes somewhere else?
Yeah, it's a lack of awareness, but it's also a lack of care.
Yeah.
And I think we're guilty of that.
Yeah.
I'm guilty of that sometimes, as we all are.
Yeah.
We've got to start thinking more about our recycling, and that includes our recycling at home. Thinking about what goes in which bin, because I do know huge amounts of waste are lost from recycling because people can't be bothered washing out containers, or people can't be bothered sorting them out into the correct bins.
Yeah.
So anything that can raise awareness of the importance of recycling. We've recycled those 1,000 bottles. We will also recycle them properly, and put them to a recycling centre. But if you look at the damage that plastic is doing to the oceans, and to the fact that the numbers of sea creatures and indeed land creatures who have plastic in their systems now, thanks to the water supplies containing plastics, I think anything that we can do to help with that is hugely important.
Yeah, thank you for that, and I'd hope to see something more like that in the future, and hope that people like on this podcast get inspired to do stuff with their schools and other stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get out there and do it, and raise as much awareness as we can.
Yeah.
Well done, James. Thank you.
Right, thank you. So, like I said, I'd just like to say a massive thank you to Mr. Simpson and Harriet for letting me interview you both. So, why did I join Engineering Club? So, I kind of got inspired by Mr. Simpson, because he was like joking about going on the Atlantic, like he said, and like he was just joking around and making it seem quite fun. So probably one of my favourite parts was going to the Anderson Centre and actually watching the boat float. So some of us had hopes that it would sink, but most of us thought that it would float, and we were right. So as Mr. Simpson said, that they've probably used about over 1,000 plastic bottles. I think it's even more, to be honest, because we still got bin bags and bin bags of bottles in the actual greenhouse. So I still find that even though we used probably about 1,000 for the actual boat, I think that if we collected more bottles, we could easily make another boat, or even made it bigger. So like Mr. Simpson said, I feel that some people don't really care about the different kind of things. So obviously you've got the paper waste bin, and some people just put the plastic bottles in the paper recycling, and I still feel like that's really bad, because people don't realise the different places that they're actually putting the bottles into, because obviously the plastic bottles get put into recycling centres, whereas paper obviously gets brought to a different place, but some plastic bottles still do get put into landfills, which I just find really disgusting. Instead of landfills, just put them in like a container. It's nothing but keep them away from the sea. But that's obviously my point of view. So, why did I join engineering club? I joined engineering club because I want people to be more aware, and especially you guys as well. I really want you lot to be aware that there is still things going on, even like pollution's still a big thing, even though we've had like COVID and that, pollution is still like one of those things that just keeps on going, and I feel like no one really cares much about them unless obviously it's shown like on Sky News, like on that ocean programme, like Mr. Simpson said. But like literally people don't realise the fact that they are harming animals, and it's like when your dog, or if you've got like a family member who's died, you're technically killing, you are pretty much killing another kind of animal or thing in the ocean. So like turtles for example, some sharks, seals, even fish, and even like land animals like have plastic bottles in their digestive system, which I still feel like people should care, and even if they don't care, then they still should respect what they still should respect what has been made for them, and how they should care, because we should care for our mother nature. So now I'm going to be moving on to what you could do to help. So it's just as simple as rinse out all your plastic bottles, take off your labels, make sure that you put your plastic bottles in the correct bins. If you don't, look on your council's website, because that'll have all the information. Check to see, check like what plastics it's made out of and if it can be recycled. If it can't be recycled, just make something out of it. Like, you can probably make some wacky stuff. Like, we've made a boat, for example. Like, yes, as wacky as that is, we still should, like, we have reflections on what's happened, and how much plastic bottles have been used, and that's just in a school. One school that's in, and I still find it ridiculous that we've had over 1,000 bottles to make a boat and more just in one school. Like, or even litter pick in your environment, in your area, that helps, and then that just makes your life easier, if you get what I mean. So if you do something, you will feel rewarded. So I'd like to say a massive thank you now to for listening to my podcast. This is the JayCast, and I'm hoping to do some more episodes on it. But if you do like it, please do comment, and there'll be something on my community post to say like thank you, and I will do a question to see what topic you'd like me to do next. So I do have a plan, and I'm not going to tell you that plan yet, but if you would like to be a part or be interviewed, then please do give me a contact. I do have a Discord server now, so yeah, So thanks for listening, guys, and that leaves me with one final thing to say. Get out there and keep on chatting. See you in the next episode.